Tonight's edition of Arizona Giving and Leading looks at an effort to connect nonprofits looking for funding with corporations looking for nonprofits to fund. The clearinghouse is called the Grant Network, and it's a joint effort between ASU's Lodestar Center for Philanthropy and Nonprofit Innovation and Valley Leadership. Here to tell us more about all this is Julia Patrick, founder and CEO of the Arizona Nonprofit Academy, and Nicole Allman-Anderson, marketing manager of ASU Lodestar. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ted.
Let's define some terms here. What is the Grant Network?
You know, it's really interesting. We have about a little over 20,000 nonprofits serving our state. And every second that a nonprofit spends trying to find money through finding grants or opportunities therein, that's time that's taken away from their serving their mission. And so as part of Valley Leadership, in conjunction with ASU Lodestar, we came together and decided that we would start a forum, an online portal, where grantors, and nonprofits could go and learn about what's out there and what's available.
And ASU Lodestar obviously involved here. What is
Yes.
ASU Lodestar? How'd you get involved?
So yes, the ASU Lodestar Center really helps build the capacity of the nonprofit sector, both here in the Valley and throughout the greater Southwest. We offer online trainings and in-person trainings, but one facet of what we do has always been serving the community, and part of that is through philanthropy and access to grant funding. The Grant Network really spawned from an original platform called AZ Gates, and that started way back in the day when the center was first founded in 1999. And through the years, it's needed some updating. So through Valley Leadership's Class 36 and our group of Matthew Whitaker and Richie Wessel and Jeff Stapleton and Julia Bogan and Gary Trujillo, of course, and us, we've decided to take on AZ Gates and give it a new name and refresh it. Make it more fitting for this year's nonprofit organization and through the philanthropy side.
So, I'm a nonprofit. I'm looking for help here. I need some funding, and I know there are corporations out there, but I do not know how to connect.
Right.
I hear about the Grant Network. How does it work?
It's really a fabulous opportunity, because what we're finding with nonprofits is that, you know, there's no dearth of mission. You know, your nonprofit is probably at the heart and soul of what you do. But the reality is you might not know what corporations are going to align with you, right? Mm-hmm. And so what this does is that it gives our community an opportunity to find the right matches. So maybe we can build more sustainable funding opportunities for somebody. Perhaps we find a funder for your network or for your nonprofit that might last decades. We don't know.
Interesting.
So we want to really get almost, if you will, a matchmaker's kind of service.
So I go to the portal and I say, Ted's nonprofit, here's what I specialize in, here are my geographic areas, here's my history, here's my future outlook, and then what?
So the bread and butter really of our site and what differentiates us from other organizations that do similar projects is that we will match you to an organization that could potentially fund your nonprofit. So say there's an organization that only wants to fund animals. They can go to our site and search by nonprofit that specializes in outreach to animals or education or children, and they'll get a comprehensive list, and then they can fine-tune potential grant awards to those organizations. And it works vice versa on the flip side. If I'm a nonprofit organization that needs specific funding, I can search for grantors that specialize in my area.
I'm a corporation now. I've decided I've become a corporation. I'd like to fund some nonprofits. Right. I go to the portal, and what information do I give?
What's really interesting is that you can talk about that service area. So perhaps you're bound by your structure to only serve people in rural Arizona, or perhaps southern Arizona or Maricopa County. That will allow you a lot of time saved, because one of the problems that we have in the nonprofit world is that people that are funding things have to say no a lot. It's really hard. And so with the Grant Network, we're able to bring people together and put them into a more comfortable situation, and a more realistic situation that will allow them an opportunity to actually make a match.
How have the two sides connected in the past? I mean, how did it do? It's shaking your head, yes.
Really word of mouth and who you know. It's hitting the pavement and establishing those relationships with the grantors, and that's why some nonprofits are more successful than others. At the end of the day, we want every nonprofit organization to have access to the same amount of funding, and it will only help build the capacity of our nonprofit community for the better.
And how long has now the Grant Network been around?
So the Grant Network it's really exciting. We started working on this project in fall, and as a matter of fact, we're just opening up the site now, and we are affording a grant that has been sponsored by Blue Cross and Blue Shield for $1,000. We're going to pick some Valley or Arizona nonprofit that comes to our site and puts their profile information in, and they will get $1,000 to help kickstart this off. Pretty awesome.
This sounds pretty awesome.
Ted's nonprofit might have to sign up.
The wheels are spinning already, and they're not spinning clearly.
You have to be a registered 501c3
well,
first.
there you go. What kind of reaction are you getting from this idea?
Oh, it's taken off. In fact, just social media today, we've been blitzing about it, and it's hitting everywhere right now. And what's great is that the smaller nonprofits have access to the same amount.
Yeah. Okay, so where do nonprofits and corporations go to get more information?
GrantNetwork.org. And they can look through, ultimately it will be a massive directory, but right now they can help us by inputting their information. And it's very easy to participate. It's basically gathering a lot of information. You can just click on the different fields that are asked and then let us do the rest.
And the bottom line is, for nonprofits, funding really is the touchstone, isn't it? I mean,
completely. I mean, without our sector, we wouldn't have the community that we have today. So we want these nonprofits to live to see another day.
All right, that website one more time?
GrantNetwork.org.
All right, GrantNetwork.org. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.